Howdy, I'm Mark Hall-Patton. I want to welcome you to the Clark County Museum. Today we're going to take a look at some of the rolling stock here. Rolling stock is a term that's used for railroad cars, and because Las Vegas was founded by the railroad, we do have some railroad cars here. You can see part of our railroad material here with a crossing guard. These were always very important, and they still are today. Pay attention to them if you run into one on the road. But behind us, we have our Caboose. This is a Union Pacific Railroad Caboose. Let's take a look inside. When you come to the Caboose, you'll also see right next to it a Union Pacific boxcar. This is one of the early boxcars. It was used for many years on the Union Pacific and was given along with the Caboose to the museum as part of our history of railroading in the Vegas area. One of the things that you may not even notice, but underneath both cars, you'll see they are sitting on tracks, and the tracks are actually sitting on real ballast. That's different from just gravel, and this was actually donated as well by the Union Pacific. Now, the reason for a caboose was you had to have people watching the train to make sure that none of the wheels caught on fire, none of the boxes under the wheels on the rest of the train, so to keep the train safe. So you would have men that were actually staying here in the caboose. They would sleep right here, they would live right here, they would work in this space, and in many cases, they would work right up here in the cupola. This is a type of caboose that has a cupola here. You'd actually sit up here and keep an eye on the train. You could communicate with the conductor from back here in case there was a problem, in case there was something that might cause the train to derail, or if you saw any problems coming up. So these were very important in the early days of railroading. But as you look at it, you see there's not a lot of space. So you had your bunks back here, you had a clothes locker so that you had some place to put your things. This is all the more that you had as a bathroom and a sink area. It wasn't like you had a lot of extra space to live in. As we walk towards what is in fact the back of the caboose, you see that this was what you had for heat. It was just a stove, it kept the place warm, but that's all you had. So you had to be very careful even here. You didn't want to get sparks coming out. It was a wooden interior, it could catch on fire as well. But this allowed the train to be safe, it allowed people to be with the train and keeping an eye on what was going on. You could watch out the side windows back here as well. As you look around in here, you'll also see that there are signaling flags. These are both for flags and for shades. You also have some interpretation here if you want to know what was going on. There were certain phrases that were used that we don't use today, like bend the iron, which was to throw a switch on the track to move you to a different track, or highballing, which was a high-speed train. So you learn a little bit about how people used the trains, how they worked with the trains as railroad workers. One of the things about cabooses today is when you see a train today, you will not see a caboose on the end of it. Up until the early 1980s, you had to have a caboose by law on the train. It was for safety's sake. So the train caboose has become extinct as part of regular railroading. This type of car was used for over a century, and over the course of 10 years, it completely went away. So this is part of the heritage of railroading, and it's part of the heritage of the Vegas Valley. So that's a look at our Union Pacific Caboose. It's open every hour that we're open, and we're open 7 days a week from 9 to 4:30. Remember, it's only $2, the best bargain in the valley. So come on down and see us.